Hi everyone, it's Kino here. Thanks so much for joining me on this Ashtanga Yoga Challenge. We are on day 5. Congratulations for making it this far in the journey, and it's been really awesome for me to share this practice with you. So before we get started on today's challenge pose, and we're going to look at a wide leg forward bend. So this is called in Sanskrit Prasarita Padottanasna, and we'll be doing the variation, which is the C, letter C, like cat variation. So before we get started, I want to talk about the Ashtanga yoga method in general. First of all, sometimes people can feel very intimidated by how hard these yoga asanas really are. And you can end up sometimes having this feeling like, gosh, I don't know if Ashtanga yoga is for me. Well, I want to let you know that this practice is for everyone that really feels inspired to do the practice. So I'm here to make sure that you have an accessible, adaptive version of every asana so that you can feel welcomed into this yoga tradition. The most important thing that really qualifies you to be ready to practice Ashtanga yoga is that you want to do the practice. That's all. You don't need to be qualifying for the Olympics. This is not a game of ableism. There's no competition for the best asana. It's really about taking the tool of the yoga asana and understanding what it's about, which means that you're using the asana to heal the body, and in the process of healing, the idea is to bring your level of consciousness into every cell of the body so you reach kind of a very high level of embodiment. And on that journey, we can all succeed. The yoga poses cannot be judged from the outside looking in. Like, you can't look at someone and say, wow, they're a super advanced yogi just because they're really flexible. You don't know, they could be just born like that. Yoga is an inner state. So that inner state is leading to what was called in Sanskrit the state of Nirodha. And Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, in Yoga Sutra number 2, Yogaschita Vritti Nirodha, define yoga as that state of inner stillness, which in Sanskrit is Nirodha. So when you're thinking about Ashtanga yoga and you're asking, is this practice for me because my body doesn't really feel like it can twist and bend into all these shapes, just really recalibrate and think, you know what, I'm going to use this asana practice to help my mind reach that state of stillness. So whatever asana is helping me feel more peaceful, more calm, in that way, I'm going to do that asana. So bear that in mind as we go through to today's yoga pose, because today's yoga pose can be really intimidating because it's a very deep forward bend. And if your forward bends are challenged, well, then again, you'll be up at an obstacle here. So let's head on over to the yoga mat and we'll take a look at today's yoga pose, which is, as I said, Prasarita Padottanasna, wide leg forward bend. So when we head on over to the yoga mat, here I am on the yoga mat. First, I have today a yoga block. So what can happen when you're doing the wide leg forward bend? So I'm going to take a nice wide stance. I'm going to put my hair up so I can bend forward easily as well. Is that very often, if you're newer to the practice and you need to bend forward, you can exhale and put your hands on the ground. But then when it's time to bend forward, the back rounds and you end up feeling like there's no way I can get on the ground. This is where using a yoga block is a very good technique. Let me show you from the side. So say you're working Prasarita Padottanasna, you inhale, prepare, and this is just the A variation. You exhale, applying the same forward bend technique that we went over on day 2. So you're going to send the hips back, draw the navel in, reach your 90-degree angle, and then relax your back muscles. Still, when you do this, even if you transfer weight forward, your head is very far away from the ground. Well, you can place your head on a yoga block, and this can help you really just transfer your body weight a little bit more forward. And when you're transferring your body weight a little bit more forward, this can help relax the back muscles, draw in the navel, get you connected into just a really safe forward bend. Over years of practice, you'll be able to remove the block and then place the head on the ground. Again, over years of practice, you'll be able to scoot your forward bend a little bit more in. And again, more years of practice and you can deepen your forward fold. So it's really just about continuing to show up over and over again on the practice. And this is the A variation of Prasarita Padottanasana. So now let's take a look at the C variation, which is what we're going to be doing. There are actually 4 variations of Prasarita Padottanasana. In the C variation, we inhale, spread the arms, exhale, interlock the fingers behind the back. The biggest mistake that many students make is to do this, pinch the shoulders together and push the chest up. It feels like you're opening your chest, And it's not that it feels bad, it's just that when we fold forward, you want to actually internally rotate the shoulders. So just watch my humerus for a moment. If I squeeze the arm bones back, it gets the feeling like I'm doing a back bend, but this is actually a forward bend. So I want to roll the shoulder joints forward. When I roll the shoulder joints forward, the navel draws in, and I'm going to lift up along the center line. And then exhale, fold forward. When you reach this pivot point, then you want to tuck the head a little bit more in. Once the head makes a contact with the ground or with the block like I just showed you, then draw the navel in and then just keep rotating the shoulders forward, forward, forward. Now do not squeeze your hands and try to pull down. Just allow the shoulders to slowly fall and drape into an internal rotation. You can keep the palms pressed into each other. This will help you just track the shoulders in a nice clean line. Now, when it's time to come up, you lift the shoulders up first. Then inhale, lift the head up to 90 degrees, activate pelvic floor, and keep coming all the way up, all right? Now, if you have a very difficult time with your movement of your shoulders, you can grab a strap, and instead of interlocking your fingers behind the back, you could even grab a strap and just hold on to the strap. So let's try that version with the strap. So if you come on up to standing, and then spread the feet, and now instead of holding the shoulders, you're going to take the strap to about shoulder width apart, so it's about from here, and then roll the shoulders forward, all right? So let's go ahead and just work that direction. This might give you more space to internally rotate the shoulders and move the hands away from the body. Now, if you're using the strap, you may also want to use a block, so the block is there. If you're using the block, I recommend to put it a little forward of your feet. So we inhale, prepare, and then find that 90-degree angle, then exhale, relax the back, placing your top of the head on the block, and then relax the shoulders. And really keep that internal rotation, all right? Internal rotation. And you can activate a little bit the arms to make sure that you're not overdoing it, all right? How's that feeling? So over time, this will translate to a change in flexibility that you really need to spend, a good 20 years or so on, all right? So again, you want to think about where it's appropriate for you to do the work of the practice. No competition, no force, no thinking like I'm less than because I need to use a block or a strap. It's where you can bring in your connection to your breath and body. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in Prasarita Padottanasna, all right, is, here we are, inhale, prepare, exhale, interlock your fingers, rotate the shoulders forward, prepare. You don't need to look up, but you can gaze up with your eyeballs to create length along the spinal axis, and then exhale, fold forward. When you reach a point where your hands can let gravity continue the motion, then let gravity continue the motion. When you feel that you're comfortably on the ground, at that point, you may even accentuate your internal rotation by bending the elbows, rotating the hands outward, and then letting that internal rotation accentuate. Now, you don't need to take the hands to the ground. You could, but you just want to focus on the internal rotation. Some people want to take the hands out this way, but unfortunately this compresses the shoulders a little bit, so you want to roll the shoulder blades away from each other. I hope you can still see that with what is going on in my shirt, so let me maybe try that again. Hold on. Okay, so from here, hands come up, bend the elbows, and then scoop through the internal rotation to create a little bit more space. And the key, which you can see that I'm doing, I keep moving my head out of the way so that the movement through the shoulders does not compress. And I try to keep the hands into each other, fire up the legs, and let go of needing to touch the floor, because it's the movement inside the shoulders that really matters. We can be here, relaxing, or if you want to take it that extra level, you can turn the hands out. But either way, try to internally rotate the shoulders. When it's time to come up, you bring the hands down, keep your gaze on the ground, activate bandhas, and inhale all the way up, exhale. All right, so if when you're doing this posture, you feel there's a lot of pressure out through the edges of the ankles, you need to activate your inner thighs and draw in through the center line as much as possible. So you're really, again, drawing in through the center line as much as possible. This will really, really help you, okay? So The Prasarita Padottanasna postures are called the wide leg forward bend postures. And these wide leg forward bend postures increase your hamstring flexibility, the back of your leg flexibility. They also increase your hip flexion, which means that your torso kind of slides down between the thighs, and you can get this feeling again that the torso just kind of relaxes down. Continue to work strong pelvic floor activation. So you can really strong pelvic floor activation. Relax the shoulders, never fight. Let go of all goal or attachment to getting the shoulders down in a particular time frame, and instead just focus on the inner work. And remember, as I said at the beginning of this video, to not judge yourself by the depth of your flexibility or your strength, to really let the yoga practice be an inner journey. You want to find a version of the asana that best supports your spiritual practice, and let that be enough. And that's also a practice, like a mental practice in and of itself, to not get obsessed with being attached to a particular physical expression, a shape that, you know, might look pretty from the outside. So that the yoga practice, again, is an internal experience, and you just stay focused on that unique connection, which is foundational in Ashtanga yoga, the unique connection between breath, body, and mind. And in Ashtanga yoga, we call this Tristana, or when the three prongs or pillars of the practice. When you experience body as body, using the tool of asana to experience the body, you experience breath as breath, employing the deep breathing with sound, that's the Ashtanga yoga method, and then concentrating the mind, employing the tool of drishti. When these three elements are present, then you're doing the Ashtanga method. It's not, again, there's no prize, there's no competition, there's nowhere to go. It's just your breath, your body, your mind, and you practice to engage in kind of a very deep sense of communion and peacefulness and harmony. So again, we can reach that elusive state of nirodha. So happy practicing, keep breathing, keep practicing, and in a few more days we will string all these tutorials together for a nice practice that will bring you into an integration of everything we've gone through up until now. But until then, I just want you to keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. All right, I send you a lot of love, and I'll see you real soon. Namaste. Please remember, if you want to keep joining the challenge, leave me comments, and remember to subscribe and follow me so that you can continue to practice the challenge. See you later, everyone. Bye.